What's going on, guys? Welcome back to TheSlamDuncan YouTube channel. I want to talk about in this video about a pretty hot trade rumor that's going on right now that deals with Lonzo Ball potentially going to the Bulls. And then after that, I'm going to be breaking down the film from the Bulls win against the New York Knicks and what the Bulls need to do going into Wednesday because they face the Knicks again. So I want to do two things in one video here. But before we get into that, though, make sure you hit that like button. Also, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. I want to kind of break down this whole Lonzo Ball idea of him going to the Bulls and why the Bulls would want a Lonzo Ball right now, especially in a rebuilding type season where the Bulls are not really trying to win games, or really just trying to build up their team and form chemistry and see what they have in these young guys. But as you can see right here, I have Lonzo Ball and his stats pulled up on the score. He's having, I would kind of say, a worse season than last year. If you do not know, the New Orleans Pelicans did not give him an extension, and he's about to hit restricted free agency, and he has not played very well this season except for his game against the Pacers, where he did a really good job in that game. As you can see with his stats, though, 12.6 points per game, about 5 assists, about 4 rebounds, about 31 minutes. So he's starting on the Pelicans team next to Eric Bledsoe at the other guard position. But as we all know with Lonzo, I think one of the big things with him is his defense. He can guard multiple positions. His length is really good. He has the quickness to stay in front of a bunch of guys. But one of the things that's always been talked about in his game is his lack of ability to hit the free throw. Also, just his jump shot looks weird, which I think he's actually done a pretty decent job of fixing his jump shot. But I want to break down a couple of things in his game and then tell you what I think about Lonzo Ball going to the Bulls. Do I like it? Do I hate it? Am I in between? I'll let you know. But as you can see the stats right here, main thing that kind of pops out to me is they're shooting under 40% from the field, and it's only hitting 32% of his threes this year, which last year he shot 37.5% from three-point range, which is a significant jump. And also he only shoots 64% from the free throw line. So keep that in mind, okay? Now, one of the things that I like to do when I really go in on one player, especially that has nothing to do with the Bulls, I like to look at their shot chart. Now, this is the shot chart from last season for Lonzo Ball, as you can see right here. This is every single shot that he made and missed last season. But as you can see automatically with his shot chart, that he is strictly just a paint shooter, basically a layup guy, and can only shoot the three ball. Now, one of the things that Charles Barkley always said about Lonzo Ball when he first came into the league, and especially with Lonzo Ball's weird motion when shooting, is that Lonzo Ball, when he's dribbling the ball, he's only a threat to shoot if he's dribbling with his left hand. And at that time, that was actually correct, because if you think about it, Lonzo shot from his left side of his body, right? So if he was dribbling right and was trying to turn a corner, but wanted to stop on a dime and shoot, he would have to stop and bring the ball from his right side all the way to his left side and then shoot it. That takes a lot of time just for that one stop motion and then bring it up to your jump shot. That takes way too much time, especially in today's NBA game, right? You need to get your shot off like that. And with his new shot mechanics, though, it is much better because he's not, forcing the ball all the way across his body. But the thing is, I still think Charles Barkley and what he said still stands true today, is that he can't really shoot the ball off the dribble unless he's dribbling with his left hand, right? And it still is kind of in the same effect because his jump shot is still a little bit weird. But the other thing I want to talk about is that I think a lot of people had this idea about Lonzo Ball that he is strictly a point guard, right? And to be honest, I disagree. I actually think that Lonzo Ball should not be playing the point guard position, especially with a guy that doesn't average that many assists. I think he has pretty good passing ability, but I don't really think he has the best vision. And I think just the fact that he's not that much of a threat while dribbling the ball, I think that hinders him from being an actual, ball handler or point guard in the NBA. What I do like, though, is his ability to be at the off guard. I think Lonzo Ball would be a fantastic off guard, and I like the fact that Eric Bledsoe's starting alongside him, because if you look at some of the things I'm going to pull up here, but in these two plays I'm about to show you, look where Lonzo is. The Pelicans are running a lot of their offense through Brandon Ingram and Zion, right? Now, one of the things, though, is with having those two guys. You need shooters surrounding them. And look at this play right now. Right now, Zion Williamson has... I'm sorry. Lonzo played good against the Bucks, not the Pacers. I apologize. But watch what Zion Williamson does and watch what Lonzo Ball's immediate thought process is, right? So right now, Lonzo's here. He's standing off guard. Zion draws two, and this is where Lonzo is. And this is where I think Lonzo's most comfortable. Like, he is most comfortable in the catch-and-shoot situation, not the dribble into a shot situation, not a dribble off a screen into a shot situation. I think Lonzo is best right here. This is what he should... This is like how his game is built to be played. Right here, he's dribbling, but then watch what happens. You're going to throw it right into Zion again, and then too much space from Middleton as they double team Zion right here. No rotation. Again, Lonzo, catch and shoot. It's just catch and shoot plays for Lonzo Ball, I think, are just the best for him and where he's most comfortable. And I think this shot chart really shows it, right? Because let's say Lonzo was a shot creator. He would be taking a bunch more mid-range shots, and you would be seeing a lot more around like the 14 to 13-foot area in the paint, because that means he has a really good floater game, which I don't really think he has that either. So a lot of Bulls fans have been talking about the idea of Lonzo Ball on the Bulls. And personally, I don't really see where Lonzo fits. I know a lot of people are automatically like, oh, he can replace Kobe White. Kobe White seems to be more of an off-a-bench guy, and not going to lie, I kind of agree with you if you say Kobe White should be coming off the bench and just, have the score mentality, and it forces Kobe to be the off guard. But in my opinion, I personally think that if you get Lonzo Ball to try to be the point guard, I think you're having the same issue with Kobe White. I think Lonzo is best as the off guard. I love him being able to be at the off guard as a catch-and-shoot guy, and still have the ability to drive into the rim, which he still is very timid to do that due to his bad free throw shooting. And then have a point guard next to him that is handling the ball a lot and creating the plays that he doesn't, so he doesn't have to create the plays. I think sometimes with Lonzo, his passing ability gets overrated because he makes a bunch of passes, but most of the time I feel like those passes are just to pass the ball forward just because, right? It's not to actually, help set up his teammate and to get into a better position to score. It's really just him passing the ball forward just to pass the ball forward. And I think that's where his passing gets overrated a little bit. Personally, I just think that having Lonzo Ball on the Bulls, it just doesn't make sense unless the Bulls decide to move away from Zach LaVine. Now, there is some sources saying that the Bulls have interest. So it is interesting to hear that, because if you think about it, Lonzo's not that great of a shooter all around, but the front office right now said goodbye to Chris Dunn, goodbye to Shaq Harrison, but we kept Denzel Valentine because he's a good shooter, right? So with Lonzo, I don't think he's that great of a shooter, especially from the mid-range area, which is still a significant part of today's game, and he's not a good free throw shooter. Kind of, just doesn't fit into the Karnisovas style, right? So, I'm just going to say one more time, I personally don't think Lonzo Ball fits on this team unless Zach LaVine is being traded or moved on from. And I think I just don't think Lonzo Ball is put into the best scenario if he's trying to be forced into a point guard role. I've watched a couple of Pelicans games this year, and again, I think Lonzo's still in that off-guard role because Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Eric Bledsoe do most of the ball handling for that team. It's really not Lonzo. So I just don't see where he kind of fits in on this roster. Do I think Lonzo Ball is better than Kobe White right now? Yes. Lonzo Ball is a by far better player than Kobe White right now. However, I think Kobe White's ceiling is much higher than Lonzo Ball. I think Lonzo, like what we're seeing right now from Lonzo, is basically what we're going to get from Lonzo for his entire career. I don't think he's ever going to become an all-star. I think that his numbers right here are going to be about the same for the rest of his career. I think I can see him averaging around 14 points per game, get up to around 6 assists, and then up to 8 rebounds. But that's it. I really don't see him getting much better. And that's kind of the reason why I'm just like, I don't really understand this idea. I've read articles, I've read a lot of tweets from Bulls fans making a case, and it's mostly just due to the fact that this Bulls team right now is struggling defensively, and I understand Lonzo can definitely come in and help with that, but again, we're not looking to win this season. We're looking to develop guys, and I don't think you can really develop Lonzo Ball that much more at this point in his career. So, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Also remember, he's going into restricted free agency, which means that the Bulls are going to have to pay him if they trade for him. So, unless Zach LaVine is being, thrown away, I don't see the Bulls doing this deal, and I personally do not want the Bulls to do this deal. Not to mention, I just don't want LeVar, I just don't want to deal with LeVar. If the Bulls had to give up anything for Lonzo, I'm not giving up a first-round pick. I've seen Bulls fans say that they want to give up a first-round pick. I don't know what you're thinking. I think Karnisovas clearly knows that he needs that first-round pick, and I trust Karnisovas with his drafting. So I'm not giving up a first-round pick. I probably won't give up a second-round pick unless it's later in the future. If I had to trade some guy, it'd be Denzel Valentine, Chandler Hutchison, potentially. I'd trade those guys, but I don't think the Pelicans are going to accept that type of deal. Like, Valentine in a second for Lonzo Ball, that's not going to happen. So, I don't see it happening. Not really a big fan of it. Kind of hope it doesn't happen unless the Bulls show that they're moving on from LaVine. So, that's my thoughts on Lonzo Ball. Potentially go to the Bulls, or the idea of him going to the Bulls. But this is more for me just to hear from you guys. Go ahead and leave in the comment section down below your take on Lonzo Ball potentially going to the Bulls. I want to read what you guys have to say about it. What are your thoughts on it? I'm definitely going to be responding to comments on this video. Now, moving on really quickly to the Bulls win versus the Knicks. I'm going to show you some mostly good highlights, but I'm going to show you a couple of things that the Bulls need to work on. Overall for this game, I think the Bulls played a pretty good game. I think the third quarter was probably the worst quarter, where guys started to get a little bit stagnant, turnovers started happening, and they were just making a bunch of mistakes on the defensive end. One thing that I was not very happy with throughout the entire game was the Bulls, for some odd reason, gave up a lot of paint points, and the New York Knicks are not a good three-point shooting team. So moving on into the next game, Bulls need to be aware, like, hey, this team is not good from the three-point line. How about we give up the three-point shot and make sure that they don't get into the paint as easily? So, right here, I'm going to show you a quick example of where the Bulls messed up in their mindset. So, right here, you could argue what type of break this is. You could say it's a 3-on-4 and the Knicks have the advantage. I personally think the Bulls have the advantage in this situation. I think all 5 guys for the Bulls are in on this play. I think only 4 guys for the Knicks are in on this play. But if you watch as this continues, right, I'm just confused at what's happening here. Like, for me, I'm like, for one, it's on Markkanen, Kobe White, and Patrick Williams to be yelling out to these guys right here who can't see the entire floor, hey, I got this guy, you need to guard this guy, or I got ball, you guard that man, right? None of that happens here, right? And right now, if you're the Bulls, you want to clog that paint up. You want to make sure that they don't get an easy layup because you want the Knicks to shoot jump shots, right? And again, miscommunication all around. You got 3 guys looking at 2 guys here, and now Nerlens Noel is here, right? Now he finally gets into the play, and what's happening? I don't know what's happening. This is just terrible. This is horrible defense, horrible communication, and not knowing your personnel, who your opponent is. This is just bad all around. And I just was hoping that I did not have to see something like that today. I made a mental note in my mind when I saw this play happen. And this was bad. Now, do I think Thaddeus Young got that charge? Yeah, I think he got the charge, but still, it shouldn't have come down to this. Like, a layup off of that type of situation where you have numbers, or the other team just does not have the advantage in numbers, shouldn't end like this, especially after you stop the initial drive. Bad communication, bad defense. Now, I'm going to show you some good things. Lauri Markkanen had a great game tonight. I think Lauri Markkanen in the first 3 quarters was doing everything right and everything that he had to do. He was attacking that paint all night. And that was exactly what I wanted to see, especially from last game. And this was a really good game from Lauri Markkanen. But I will say, I am a little bit concerned because in the fourth quarter, while Lauri got a bunch of looks, he was standing at the three-point line way too much in the fourth quarter. And this was crunch time, right? He just seemed so timid to go back into the paint, which was working for him so well this game. And I was just so confused with him because he shot, I think, 12 threes this game. And like a total of 14, or something around there. It was just a lot of threes. Or maybe it was like 10 threes. And I was like, man, you gotta get back into the paint where it was working for you. I'm going to show you an example of this, right? Thaddeus Young had an incredible game tonight. And I'm loving what he's been able to do with Wendell Carter out because, Wendell Carter Jr. was such a great passer for this team, especially in the high post area. And the Bulls have severely missed him. Not with just his passing, but also just his ability to defend and rebound. But Thaddeus Young has come in and has applied that passing role really, really well. As you can see right here, Markkanen, instead of just standing at the three-point line, which he would have done absolutely 100% last year. He sees what the defense is doing, right? If Markkanen stands here, that means after Randall rotates, that whoever this is, it might be Quickly, Barrett, I'm not really too sure. This guy can guard Williams and Markkanen if the pass is thrown out to the three-point line. And also it's just a harder pass for Thaddeus Young to get out there cleanly. But with Markkanen cutting, now this makes it much harder for the Knicks to guard. You can't guard two guys at once with just this guy right here when Markkanen is cutting and Williams is moving over to the corner. That's too hard for one man to guard. Easy bucket. And that's exactly what I want to see from Lauri Markkanen. I'm going to show you, I think, another play again here. This was a great pass from Thaddeus Young to Lauri Markkanen. And I love this play right here where it's a slip screen from the big man while the guard's coming up to the top of the key, acting like it's a handoff play. But you catch the big man sleeping on the opponent. And great pass from Thaddeus Young to Lauri Markkanen. And again, Markkanen's attacking that basket. I love to see that. And he did that throughout 3 quarters. But fourth quarter came, and he just decided to stand at the three-point line. He just needs to continue to always attack the rim first. Once he has that established, because no matter what, if just going into the paint is going to bring the defense in, and it's just, you draw a lot of attention as a 7-footer of going into the paint. Once you have that established, then go out to the three-point line. And he did exactly that, especially in the first half, was he got into the paint first, then he extended to the three-point line. Instead, though, once the fourth quarter hit, it was like he just was like, I'm just going to stand and shoot threes, and he went cold. So, for me, it's just, I love what I saw from him tonight. I just hope that he continues that mindset of attack the paint first, then go to the three-point line. Now, I want to give out some good praise to Zach LaVine as well for this game. I think Zach LaVine played an incredible game, and it doesn't show up in the box score that much, but Zach LaVine did not take another shot in the first quarter, and I think he's understanding, like, okay, let me try to get my teammates going first, and then I can take over down the stretch, which the Bulls sorely needed in this game at any point in time. And one of the things that Zach LaVine does not get enough credit for is his ability to understand what the defense is throwing at him now. The game is clearly slowed down for Zach LaVine. He's understanding all these defensive sets being thrown at him. So if a double comes at him off the pick and roll, he knows who to throw it to. When should he throw it, and how it can help his teammates get open looks. If the guy decides, hey, I'm just going to guard you one-on-one, then he can take him easily, and I'm going to show both examples of that right here. So, Bulls are down right here, right? This is a big moment because Markkanen went cold, the offense started to get stagnant, and Bulls started having, turnover after turnover, and LaVine wasn't really, asserting himself too much. He was just, kind of standing there trying to get his other teammates involved still. But watch this play right here. So, it's one of the simple handoff plays from Billy Donovan, which has been effective all year. Now, reset after the initial action doesn't work. Now, watch Zach LaVine. So he understands, all right now the defense is going to be doubling me. So as you see, Nerlens Noel comes out to double him. He forces that pass out in the perfect time to Thaddeus Young, who's the release valve in that play. And now, as you can see right here, it's a 3-on-4 situation in favor for the Bulls. You got 3 Knicks guarding 4 Bulls players. Now it's up to Thaddeus Young to do the right play here, and he does exactly that. Defense was too late to rotate over. If let's say these guys came a little bit earlier, well then you got Garrett Temple out here. If this man completely left both these guys, you got either of these guys to throw it out to. It's great offense from the Bulls. Good recognition from Zach LaVine and Thaddeus Young. Young recognized that the defense just wasn't there in time. You take it over Julius Randle, easy 2 points. Now, here's the opposite situation. So, it's the same play, pick and roll with Thaddeus Young and Zach LaVine, and it's kind of a double screen with Markkanen slipping. But instead, this time, watch. Instead, the Knicks this time decided, okay, the guard fights over the screen. We're not going to double Zach LaVine this time. We're just going to let it play out one-on-one. We don't want to allow Thaddeus Young in the middle of the area, middle of the paint right here, catching that ball in a 3-on-4 situation. So let's just isolate out or just have guys guard each other one-on-one. Well, Zach's like, okay, well, if you're going to do that to me, well, Wayne Ellington, I believe this who was, or I'm sorry, Alec Burks. Alec Burks, you're a pretty good defender, but you cannot guard me. And this was a clutch mid-range shot. I mean clutch mid-range shot because Bulls, again, starting to struggle. And this was huge from Zach LaVine to hit that shot. And then, obviously, I'm going to get to the point in this video. You're going to see the 3 by Zach LaVine, which the Knicks just I don't know what they were doing. The Knicks just screwed up so bad. Again, same situation. Pick and roll Thaddeus Young. They come and trap him. 3-on-4 situation. And Thaddeus Young passes to Garrett Temple, which great extra pass here to Kobe White, who I love that Kobe still took the shot with full confidence, even though he was kind of struggling all game. And he knocked that down, which was one of the daggers. And then the Knicks, man, and this is what I love from Zach LaVine. It's like you can't leave Zach LaVine at any point. Don't leave this man open. And the Knicks, off this double screen right here, they went with the two big men. You have three guys guarding Young and Markkanen, and wide open Zach LaVine. Here's the dagger that basically kind of secured the Bulls' win. Now, main thing that I wanted to look at, though, is if this is going to be a close game, how do the Bulls execute down the stretch, especially if they're up? What are you going to do? Have you learned from last game? Because I pointed out in my previous video, which you go watch up here, that the Bulls in just 11.5 seconds made a bunch of mistakes, like an incredible amount of mistakes. But in this game, I believe that the Bulls did a great job executing down the stretch. After the RJ Barrett missed, they did a great job advancing to the front court and made sure you held onto the ball. And then they finished that game out exactly how they were supposed to. And I love that Billy Donovan didn't call a timeout to advance the ball in any of those situations. He wanted to see if his team learned from last game, and they did exactly just that. I'm really happy what I saw from the Bulls. Overall from this game, there's a lot of things they still need to work on, but I think the Bulls definitely took a step forward again in their improvement, in their progress, and making sure these guys start to learn how to win basketball. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you got to this point in this video, you had to like something, right? So hit that like button. Also, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next Bulls video. Peace.